I know what you're here for. Let's get to that sports talk, baby. We got a lot of news today. We got some breaking news. We got the game from Monday night. We got some baseball today. We got Drake May starting. I mean, it's a good night for some sports to talk some sports. Vance was out yesterday. We held it down for Vance. He wasn't feeling good. How we feeling today, Vance? What you want to talk about first? We could start talking about anything. You pick the segment, and we'll talk about it first.
I'm feeling a lot better. Not 100%. You guys can hear I'm still a little nasally, a little congested still. Because I'm actually genuinely curious because I didn't know it. I knew about the Robert Saleh stuff. We'll talk about that. But Drake May, I want to talk about that first because I didn't know about that till you said it.
Yeah. Drake May, he gets to start. You know what? We'll start about Saleh, and then we'll go to because that's the main topic right now. So we'll talk about Saleh, then we go to Drake May, and then we'll get back to the Chiefs game because that already happened or whatnot. But we'll still talk about that. Then we go to baseball, and then I'll give you my top 5 MVP list, Dino's MVP list after Week 5 coming up soon. And stay for the trivia, baby. We got some trivia today. So hey, stay in. Put your comments in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe button, and in the inside the lines. So Robert Saleh, he is fired out of there as the Jets head coach.
Now I don't want to cut you off, but you did call this.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna happen this fast. The Jets owner has never ever fired a head coach in season.
So I saw that.
This is a very, very surprising thing here for Robert Saleh to get fired down the line. A lot of talks with him not having control of the team. You see Aaron Rodgers not coming to mandatory mini camp. I mean, it was a lot going on here with Robert Saleh, and now him getting fired. And how you feel about this firing? Was this too soon? How surprised are you? What's your take on it, Vance?
So for me, I don't think it was correct, but you did call it that he would get fired in season. But the weirdest thing for me is Rodgers wanted to play for him, but then he gets fired. Now, there was a big discussion today. I follow this NFL person, used to go to our college here, graduated. He runs like an NFL Instagram. I don't know if Rodgers had a say. I want to think he didn't because he's his friend. But I don't know. I mean, you called it. You said he'd be fired in season. You were spot on. I don't really know what to think of this. They're not terrible. They're 2-3. They're not awful.
I mean, the owner seems to not have like the start that they're having. They should have beat the Broncos. Yes, they should have beat the Broncos. They lost at 9:30 on Sunday to who did they play? Was it the Vikings?
A good team.
Yeah, Vikings a good team. So that's
they
L
lost
right
to the
there.
Niners and the Vikings, 2 good teams.
Yeah, and the weather was bad with the Broncos. Let's be real. It was like rainy and it was terrible out there.
Yes,
but
it was.
I think Robert Saleh didn't have the great control of the team. Like I said, reports of Aaron Rodgers not coming into mini camp. Aaron Rodgers when are we going to get on Aaron Rodgers? 3 interceptions in the last game he played. He's always coming up with every excuse and reason why he's not winning. They keep Nathaniel Hackett, but you get rid of Saleh, but you keep Nathaniel Hackett. And Nathaniel Hackett, the only reason why he has the job is because of Aaron Rodgers.
I do agree with you. If you're gonna fire one, fire both.
Exactly. You gotta fire both. But this bears the question right here.
He got escorted out by security.
He got escorted out by security. He got escorted out by security, which is kind of crazy. And he didn't get to talk to no players. He looked to be very shocked that he got fired after Week 5. I'll be pretty surprised too if I got fired out of nowhere like that. Hasn't had a positive record since he's been the head coach. Didn't develop Zach Wilson in the best way he could, and the draft pick they got him at. So looks very bad for Robert Saleh. I still think he gets a defensive coordinator job somewhere if there's a job out there for him because he's still a good defensive coach. The Jets this year, their defense hasn't been that great, but you know what he could do with high caliber stars. Uh, but Aaron Rodgers in his offense just hasn't been great. So you blame. I think it's we're just firing Robert Saleh just to
Cover our, you know what?
scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? The scapegoat.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? I feel like Robert Saleh the scapegoat.
now the thing
Nathaniel
that I
Hackett
wanted to
is bad at coaching right now. Aaron Rodgers is not the same. Aaron Rodgers won't be ever be the same Aaron Rodgers he will ever be. It has looking worse for the last 18 months.
absolutely.
So as a head, I think as the head coach, he definitely got fired because he didn't set his dominance. Uh, but you knew what you were getting out of Aaron Rodgers when you brung him in and wanted to bring him in. Um, Defensive coordinator for the Jets, forgot his name. I had his name from the start, but I forgot his name. He's now the interim head coach now. But
There
who
it
can
is.
be the head coach in the future? Can we see this happen?
I
Vance,
I
would you actually be interested in this?
So I commented on your Instagram because I did see that you posted this on your story, and I said something along the lines of, "I honestly agree." I say that, but I don't think it'll happen. I think if he were to go to any team, it would be the Jets. But would he do that knowing what he would get? But I don't know if he would care what he would get from Patriot fans.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
but
saying he cares. I'm not saying he
and
cares. But what do you want? What do
and
you want
and
to take flat from Patriot fans
yeah, and another thing is he used to be the head coach, he was the defensive coordinator at the Jets. He used to be the
and the
defensive coordinator,
Giants?
so he got some ties back with the Jets. I think Bill Belichick can be that coach for the Jets going forward. Who knows that the head coach they got now is the guy. Owner says they have a great team or whatnot.
Yes.
Um, so he just felt like they didn't get off to a great start, and Saleh was on the kind of the hot seat either way. I think he's on the long list of head coaches on the hot seat that might get fired. I know Mike McCarthy's always on that hot seat.
Speaking of
Stefanski
that,
for
I
the
wanted to
Browns is
ask
always
you,
on that hot seat.
yeah, what fits better? Bill to the Jets, or I know you like this idea too. Bill to to Dallas. What
I
do you
think
think is more likely?
I don't think Bill takes the job for the Jets because Aaron Rodgers is just a diva. Nobody wants to deal with Aaron Rodgers. The thing is, when you're a head coach, you have to come in and deal with Aaron Rodgers. And I think the
You want
owner is
your
on more.
players, yeah. You want your
Yeah, I
players.
think I think the owner is
Yep.
on the side of Aaron Rodgers and him taking control of the offense and they having a good team because they were in talks of trying to get Devontae Adams. I don't know now because Devontae Adams probably looking like this is a shit show over here. Like
Yes.
this is a complete shit show. The head coach is getting fired. Uh, Aaron Rodgers is not playing up to the ability he is. They're already 2-3. I mean, what if you're Devontae Adams? Would you consider going to the Jets now
They
that they
said it
fired
still is
Robert
number.
Saleh?
So interestingly enough, they asked him today, and he said this firing has nothing to do with it. He still wants to be a Jet. I'm dead serious. That's still his number one option.
Still
The
wants to be a
Jets are where
Jet.
he wants to
And
be.
I know he was supposed to have a little interview with somebody and he didn't even do the
He
interview
didn't
because
show
he had
up.
something going. Yeah, he had
But
something
from
going
what they
on.
had heard, he said the firing is nothing. He wants to be a Jet.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you before
Yeah.
we go on. I have my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. Should Sean McDermott be fired for the Bills? Defensive coach with that
Uh
quarterback? I think he should.
I don't know
Joe
because
Brady?
the thing is
Joe Brady.
Josh Allen hasn't been playing well the last 2 weeks, but he has
He
been
hasn't
putting
played
up
bad, though.
MVP he hasn't played bad, and you know what I'm saying. The best thing you want out of your head coach is to elevate your quarterback. Robert Saleh hasn't elevated his quarterback and hasn't elevated this
Exactly.
team in any type of way.
I
If
think
you're
the
going to
offensive
be
coordinator, yeah, I think the offensive coordinator for the Bills, Joe Brady, coached LSU to a championship and with Joe Burrow. So I think this dude's good. But back to what you were saying. Go ahead.
yeah, I just think for Robert Saleh, you're a defensive head coach,
Yep.
but that's one reason why you have defensive coordinators in the league. If you want to be a defensive coordinator and you want to take care of the defense, just be a defensive coordinator. If
He
you want to
was
be
the
the head coach,
Niners. Yeah, yes, he was the Niners defensive coordinator of the year who went to the Super Bowl in the first time against KC, 2020.
yeah, and Robert Saleh is a great defensive head coach. And this is what he has to deal with. Aaron Rodgers can't even get up. I can't even get a good moment. We can't even get a good moment together after we get a win or whatnot. And that's what he got to deal with Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett, now the owner not being on the side, but him getting. I hear he's getting escorted out the
Yeah.
uh out the
I also
facility.
wanted to I also wanted to ask you, because you know a lot more football than me. Where do you stand on the not really the whole idea of Robert Saleh, but they were saying
Yeah,
like Robert Saleh isn't another. He's a direct comparison of Brian Flores, like a good coordinator, not a head coach. I
yeah.
thought Brian Flores was a pretty good coach. Do you think that's a good comparison? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a good comparison because Robert Saleh has been to a Super Bowl with the 49ers and being the defensive coordinator, whatnot. So, I mean, Brian Flores could be something like that. But, Brian Flores, he had the stuff with the
Tua.
lawsuit or whatnot and going against the NFL. So he had a whole nother problem. But Robert Saleh, bro, to fire him after week 5, I feel like it was a surprise that it happened now, but I seen it coming down
Yeah,
happening
you did
later.
call it. You did call it.
Yeah, I already seen that happening coming down the line with Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Anyways, for him to get escorted out, he can't talk to his players. Had a lot to do with Aaron Rodgers. Do you think this had something to do with Aaron Rodgers, or this had more to do with the kind of what he put out in the record wise and in the years with Zach Wilson? And he been through some stuff. Giving Robert Saleh some slack. Zach Wilson was a pretty bad quarterback. If he had a competent quarterback, they might have would have did something in the past couple years. But I think it's because since they got Aaron Rodgers and they looked at him as a competent quarterback and as the MVP he used to be and the Super Bowl champ he used to be, and they finally get a decent quarterback and now they're still losing games. That probably played a big factor in Robert Saleh being gone. But I mean, I don't know how as a Jets fan, speaking out on a Jets perspective, I don't know how you take this after week 5. It just looks
How
like
was
a
one supposed to take it?
yeah, it just looked like a shit show, bro. It just looked like a big shit show. And I don't know how you take something like that. I don't know. I don't know what goes from here with Robert Saleh. I don't pray or think about anybody getting fired because you got to
No,
make your income, you got to make your money. We don't like to see nobody getting out of there. But there Jets have good reasons why they fired him, and there's some bad reasons too. Let's be real. Nathaniel
no, you're
Hackett's
not
still on
wrong. You're
the
not
staff.
wrong at all.
It just seems like a lot of control is Aaron Rodgers' control because if it wasn't Aaron Rodgers and was somebody else, Nathaniel Hackett, when that came, a lot of these guys and Lazard and Randall Cobb, when they brung them in and stuff like that wouldn't have happened. So let's look at Aaron Rodgers more. And now this is the thing now. You can't blame nobody else now. You
Nope.
can't blame nobody else. I
You
mean,
have no
you can't blame.
scapegoat.
I mean, yeah, you can't blame Robert Saleh anymore. So who are you going to blame down the line if they start losing games? And that's the big question and the big thing coming down the line. And
Do
who
you
should be the
maybe Nat
replacement?
Hackett?
Oh yeah,
Maybe,
Nat,
maybe.
yeah, yeah, Nat Hackett. That's who's the head coach now. That's the name
No,
that
he's
I
not.
that was it.
Nope. I have the name here. I'll give it to you. The name of the interim head coach is Jeff Ulbrich. Will be named interim head coach for the
Jeff
Jets.
Albrecht. That's the name. Jeff Albrecht.
Ulbrich.
Yeah, and he was in a consideration for a lot of head coaching spots coming down the line. So I feel like he might be the head coach going forward. If I'm
But the
Bill Belichick, I'm not trying to.
yeah, exactly.
If I'm
The
if
scapegoat
I'm
you
Bill
mentioned,
Belichick, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You got it. You got it, Vance.
The scapegoat you mentioned will be Nathaniel Hackett. They're going to use him. They shouldn't, but they're going to.
Yeah.
If your Bill, would you want to go there?
Not right now. Not in the middle of the season. I need preparation. I need training camp. I need to get on the same page with my quarterback and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there's a lot going into that or whatnot. And if I'm Bill Belichick, nah, I'm
Now
not
I
trying
want
to
to
go in and
continue on
go into
something that
there.
you said earlier because you made a really good point. Is you made a really good point. I want to continue on the Jets thing. We've noticed that the Jets have killed quarterbacks, whether it's Zach Wilson, you name it, right? Is this the
Yeah,
Jets not being able to develop a quarterback? Because Zach Wilson doesn't look terrible right now. Was it more
I
the
think it,
Jets or was it more Zach Wilson?
I think it's Jets as an organization. So it's not on all on Zach Wilson or Saleh or anything. I think as a Jets organization, they just don't know how to do anything right, dating back to wherever you want to date it back to. The Jets has just been a bad organization. Don't know how to develop quarterbacks like the Bears. Don't know how to develop quarterbacks. Caleb Williams has been playing good. I want to say that first. But
Carolina,
Carolina having the same situation.
Cleveland.
And honestly, I don't see things turning around at all down in situations. I just don't see.
I'm
I
with
just
you.
I don't see them winning a lot of. I mean, I see them winning some games, but not. Let's turn it around and Salah's gone, and now everything's going to be okay, and now we're Super Bowl contenders. And coming into the season, Jets fans and the Jets all around New York, like man,
They were so hyped up.
they were hyped up the year before before Aaron Rodgers tragically tore his Achilles, but they
Yeah.
were on that this year too. You bring in Mike Williams, you still got Garrett Wilson, the Aaron Rodgers. You still got a competent team, so I don't get why it's such a problem right now. And it's not like you're the Bengals. It's not like you're the Jaguars. You're 2-3, like you said.
Yeah. Being escorted out, the thing that it's kind of rattling my brain here. Do you think, now that I read that, do you think Aaron Rodgers may have had a say?
Aaron Rodgers has a say in any organization he goes to because
So
in a
you
lot of
think
these
he wanted him? So
organizations,
do you think he wanted him fired?
I think Aaron Rodgers probably had a say so of wanting him gone because a lot of players, a lot of coaches, a lot of organizations were like, "Hey, look, Robert Saleh has no control of the team," and you made that statement when Aaron Rodgers didn't come to mandatory training camp. You know
He
what
was,
mandatory
yeah,
means. You know what mandatory
yes.
means. Your ass need to be there. You need to be in the facility, and we need to get some chemistry going. But Robert Saleh,
The thing I kept hearing is, "I'm Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who you are."
yes, sir. You on the live right here. Tune in to Inside the Lines. Anybody's in the chat, put something in the chat. We respond to you in the chat. If you are
I
here
think,
after the video, put your
yeah,
comment in the comment
I
section.
think the thing
You
you
can keep
just said
going,
is a
man.
really good point. Dino, you just said, you know what mandatory means. I kept hearing things like, "I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'll show up." No, it's mandatory minicamp. You got to be there. I'm with you. I'm 1,000%
Yeah,
with you.
exactly. It's not like this is not negotiable.
It's
And the
optional.
thing is,
Optional. Yeah.
for some reason they make things negotiable. Hey, look, Aaron Rodgers, if you don't want to play football, go ahead and just
Retire.
retire because training camp is a part of football. Mini camp is a part of football. Preparation, preseason, and all that stuff is a part of football. And you haven't been playing that great, and you tore your Achilles last season after
You
Jets had
need
all these
reps.
hopes. You need reps. So that's why I don't get why.
Absolutely.
That's why I don't get why all of a sudden he just didn't want to,
Show up.
play. Yeah, that
So where do you? Yeah, I'm with you 1,000%.
makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. I don't think it does. It makes no sense to me because I feel like Aaron Rodgers is just like the league's just being soft on Aaron Rodgers because he's still a part of that Brady era. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know what it is, and him
Let
going
me
to
ask you,
and
when do you think it's time to move on from that mindset?
uh probably after this year. I think the Jets have a short term idea because I think everything's short term. After you fire Robert Saleh, you're making
Rodgers may
things
be
short
gone.
term. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers after this year. Hey, look, we're not winning games and you're not promising us what you were supposed to do because if you're missing minicamp, You better be goddamn Tom Brady. You better be getting us to the
Trust
damn Super Bowl.
and trust. You might have lost trust.
Yeah, they probably there's a lot of trust lost there between Saleh and
Absolutely.
Rodgers. And I heard where I heard where Saleh wanted to fire Nathaniel Hackett before he got fired.
Really?
He was thinking about doing that. And I know Nathaniel, whoever knew about this, probably went to Rodgers and said, "Hey, look," and they didn't like that. And Saleh and that the owner said, "Hey, look, we're just going to let you go
I
because
did
it's a
not
lot of
know
things
that.
we are doing." Yeah. That was confirmed too. That Robert Saleh was going to fire. He was trying to. He was in consideration of firing Nathaniel Hackett before he actually got fired, and that's what it came down to. So I really think it's just an Aaron Rodgers, Nathaniel Hackett owner type group that they were talking, and then Saleh just came in and he got hit with that surprise that, hey, you are gone. We're letting you go, and they escorted him out by security. I mean, damn, by security.
I'm gonna guess, and I could be wrong. Do you think he tried to fight somebody?
I think
I
he was
don't want to
pissed. I
speculate.
mean,
I don't want to speculate. Do you think he tried to
because
fight someone?
it caught him by surprise. It definitely caught him by surprise. So he probably was trying to plead his case in the
Yeah,
office or whatnot, and it was like this is bullshit, or however you want to put it. And
we're
then
not terrible.
they escorted him out by
Yep.
security. I mean, and they said he couldn't talk to no players because really after you get fired, you don't know what your intentions are. You know what I'm saying? If he went into that locker room, he might have started going
He might have
crazy.
said, "Screw you guys."
Yeah, he might have said something he didn't want to. He didn't have to say,
Regret
and then
saying.
that would have been worse than what it was. So getting escorted out by security kind of outrageous, but I see the consideration there. I see the thought behind that, but kind of it hit us with it caught me off guard today that he was getting fired because they are 2-3. But after that Broncos loss, they probably was on edge with him. And then you put in Nathaniel Hackett in consideration of firing him. And I understand Robert Saleh. Has his offense been good, Vance?
No,
His offense
not at
hasn't been
all.
the offense hasn't been good at all.
I want to ask you a
Y'all talking
question
about
because this is a big topic. Do you think they thought of? Do you think this was already like considered after the Broncos game? And then if he lost it, and if he lost the Vikings game, he was out regardless. What do you think? My thought is, they probably said Bronco game not great. You got to win the next game or you're out. Do you think the owners thought that? What do you think?
I think after that Broncos game is definitely in consideration for him to be fired, and the inconsistency and kind of defensive play on top of offensive play.
So
And
inconsistent.
yeah, it was inconsistent. You know, he's supposed to be that defensive guy, but at the same time, if your quarterback is throwing 3 interceptions, what can you do? So,
That's
like
not
I
his
said,
fault.
it fault. That's what I'm saying. A lot of things are not his fault. The organization in drafting Zach Wilson, that's not his fault. You know, uh, Aaron Rodgers, he not Robert Saleh can't play on the offensive side of the football. He can't throw the football. So, I mean, it comes down to can Aaron Rodgers deliver? And now, since Robert Saleh is gone, a lot of the heavy load and a lot of criticism will come at Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers' feet going forward. So honestly, Robert Saleh, they got to pay you anyways for being fired. I don't know what your contract is, but you'll be picked up soon by either defensive coordinator wise. I don't see him being a head coach because your record was so bad as being a head coach, but you took on a big role in taking and being the head coach of the Jets. So, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of things. Look what happened to Sam Darnold after when he was
He
with the
got
Jets.
better. Exactly.
We thought he was a bust. We thought he was a bust when he was with the
Now he
Jets, and
might
then
be an
after he
MVP
left,
winner.
exactly. Now he could be an MVP winner. You know what I'm saying? So the Jets kind of destroy your reputation, but you can
Yep.
build it back up and try to get back to that point, and maybe we can see Robert Saleh coach again one day, but not today. They let him out like Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying? I think I think they cut me. You remember that? You remember that
Yeah,
video?
when he's this, I think yeah.
I think they
I that
cut me.
was the
Let's see what
first thing I
Kohar had to
saw
say.
was, oh, they cut me.
And we
And it
warned
was
you.
a Jets video, which is even funnier.
If you go to London,
What do we
was
got
the
here?
former ambassador to UK. He's got all his bougie billionaire buddies in the stadium. Ex-Jet Sam Darnold beats you. Something's going to happen, and it did this morning. So in the moment, for all you alphas out there, it feels good. Yeah, it's like going to the batting cage when you're in a bad mood. Take a few whacks. Somebody's got to pay for this.
Yeah.
Congrats. You just fired the most competent coach on your staff. Nat Hackett is.
He's not lying because
He's not
who's
at
better
all.
than Rob? Yeah, and he's not lying because that's the most competent head coach you got on that team. Let's be
Nat
real. That's the
Hackett?
best coach.
No.
I'm talking about Saleh.
No, I'm saying that if they want to
Saleh.
hire Nat
Yeah.
Hackett as interim head coach, or he wasn't, but
Yeah.
golly.
Probably the worst OC in the league. He's still there because Aaron makes sure he's there.
Yes.
Exactly. Right on the money. Cohort right on it. And we just said it. Hey, look, I see two people in the chat. Put something in the chat. What you think about Robert Saleh being fired or whatnot? How you feel about the Chiefs getting that dub? How you feel about Drake May being a starter? We're gonna get to that in just a second. But Cohort is right on the money. Aaron Rodgers has a lot to do with yeah, he has a lot to do with him getting fired or whatnot. Just not on the same page. Nobody's on the same page. I don't think the Jets are on the same page. I don't think the organization is on the
I should
same
have
page.
realized it. The hug situation, that was a bad one.
Yeah, that was a bad one. Well, let's move on. Robert Saleh's fired. Y'all want to say anything about that? Put it in the comment section. If you're here after the video, we talk about it. Look, rewind back. We just talked about it, but let's go ahead and talk about this game we had on Monday night. Chiefs Saints that get beat. The Saints, Derek Carr very inconsistent at quarterback. Really throughout the game. Yep. He got a oblique injury. I think they said he's going to be out for a few weeks. So, Devontae Adams, do you want to go to the Jets, who are a shit show, or do you want to go to the Saints, who don't have a quarterback for the next few weeks, and they could lose a lot of games down the stretch? So he actually has to think about where he wants to go. So this has a lot to do with Devontae Adams. We're gonna break that trade down when that breaks. I think it might happen this week. What do you think? It might happen this week. I think things are stirring up, and we might have that. This was a great play by Carlos Sanders. I think that's his name.
I saw this.
Could have took the knee. He could have took the knee, but he decided to take it out. I think they say he definitely has a running back background. I think that's the only pick that Patrick Mahomes threw, 331 yards for Patrick Mahomes.
Big man pick. Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, 331 yards for Patrick Mahomes. And guess what? Travis Kelce got back in the mix, 70 yards, 6 receptions, and you seen the old tradition, toss behind his behind throwing it backwards. You know his little lateral play. Yeah. You know his little lateral play. He loves to do that play. They moved to 5-0. Chiefs are the last team in the AFC to be undefeated. With all the injuries they have, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, they bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. He goes off. He goes 7 receptions for 130 yards. Kareem Hunt, he goes off for a TD in this game, 102 yards for him. I mean, did we see this coming? Did we see this coming from Kareem Hunt and Juju Smith-Schuster to come in this game and actually dominate back with their team? Because he was with the Cleveland Browns for 5 years. We know the incident that happened. We don't have to get into the incident or why he left the Chiefs because we all know about it. But he goes to the Cleveland. He absolutely does nothing in the 5 season he's in Cleveland. And then you got Juju Smith-Schuster, who was cut by the Patriots. He was cut. And then he comes on the Chiefs. What does that say about Andy Reid and his offensive play call? Is he the greatest coach or what? Is he one of the greatest? He's definitely one of the greatest offensive play callers I've ever seen.
I agree.
Yeah,
Big Red. What do I say about Big Red? I'm an Andy Reid fan. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'll put it like that.
yeah. I know you're not a
Andy
Chiefs fan.
Reid,
They done beat y'all in the
anywhere
Super
that
Bowl a couple times.
anywhere Andy Reid's went, he's won. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah. And then what I respect about Andy Reid. This is what I respect about Andy Reid. He gives his guys second chances, a second chance. He gives Juju Smith Schuster after he gets cut a second chance. He gave Michael Vick a second chance. You know what I'm saying? And Kareem Hunt, he throws the heart up. Swift was in the building. We know she was in the building. You know, and Travis Kelsey had his good game. But hey, shout out to the Chiefs. They 5-0, man. Are they? They might get three-peat, Vance. What do you think, man? They might can, man. With the and
Peter
he's like
Schrager thinks that they beat Green Bay to three-peat. I don't think they will. I think Buffalo have got to get their crap together. I think Buffalo got to fire McDermott and give Joe Brady the reins because since last year, Josh Allen is looking like a different quarterback. He hasn't thrown a pick. Like he hasn't thrown many picks. Has he thrown a pick at all? Like, no, they haven't won the last two games, but Josh Allen hasn't looked bad. I think someone will knock them off. I don't know. It's difficult because the Chiefs aren't bad. So look at they're 5-0. So what can we say?
And let's talk about this Chiefs defense. Alvin Kamara, 26 yards.
He got stuffed.
They hold Derrick Henry to 46 yards. They hold Zach Moss to 34 yards. Bijan Robinson, 31 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 32 yards. How the defensive this defensive stopping the running game is legit. Chris Jones looking for that defensive player of the year still to this day. I don't think he gets it because they usually DNs get it, like the TJ
Bosa.
and Bosa's, you know what I'm saying? But Chris Jones could be a consideration, but you know what I'm saying? D tackles don't usually you gotta have the sacks up. I don't think they don't give.
Yeah, you're correct. They don't give it to a guy like Chris Jones. He's underappreciated. I will say that. You know who everyone keeps telling me who's going to be the next big thing, and I'm still waiting on it?
Who?
Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah, Michael Parsons, who
we're still waiting.
Yeah, out the gate. They thought Michael Parsons was Lawrence Taylor for
That's
some
who they were
reason.
comparing him to.
Yeah, like why? I don't know why we're comparing it to him.
He's not LT.
Hey, we love this. We love this, Bets.
Big man
you
pick.
love that. Big man pick. Still going. Man, what a play by Carlos Sanders. I think his brother is like the backup dancer for Taylor Swift or some crazy something like that. I know it's a backstory behind it, but what a play. He made a play. And he made a play before this play and get a Travis Kelsey to the ground, hit him with a serious hit. But that's the only interception. Juju Smith really should have caught it, but Juju Smith for it in the back end, getting his 130 yards. But man, a big man play like that, you gotta love it. NFL is back, baby, and it's here. Saints, I thought they were gonna. And this was just bad. He just threw this up. That was just Derek Carr very inconsistent in this game throwing the football. After Sanders got that interception, I thought the Saints would kind of emerge to try to come back in this game. But let's look at Derek Carr's record again. We know Derek Carr's record against the Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs? I think it's 3-14. 3-14. I mean, we kind of expect that Derek Carr was probably going to come out with a loss, but after the Saints started off their season being undefeated and playing real good, it looks like there's going to be a struggle down the stretch. Like I said, Derek Carr with an oblique injury out for a couple of weeks. They already confirmed. So looks like the Saints are back in the same boat they were last year, and a bunch of dead cap money and players they shouldn't have signed to a long-term deal, and now Derek Carr is out for a couple weeks. Who was the X factor in this game for you, Vance?
Kelsey, because he finally did something.
Oh yeah, Xavier Worthy gets the rushing touchdown, then hands the football to his mom. I love to see stuff like that.
I did see this.
We love, yeah, we love to see stuff like that. And that was set up by Juju Smith-Schuster. And we got some comments, baby. Yes, sir. Yo, what's up?
How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I see you, big dog. I see you, big dog. I see you. I see you, baseball kid. Four. Shout out to you being in the chat and commenting in the chat how you feel about those games. Hey, we're gonna get into some baseball in a
We
second. I see
will.
you, the baseball kid. Yeah, I see you, the baseball kid. Four. Stay tuned in for some baseball. We talk about and let's talk about it. The Chiefs. We seen the Kansas City Royals. They were shouting it out in there. They were shouting it out. They beat the Yankees. Your Yankees fans. They beat your
One
Yankees.
all. One
But
all.
yeah,
So before we get to
one
Drake, man,
all,
we'll do some baseball. So KC won yesterday. I forget the score. Let me look here. Yeah, we lost 4-2. Series is tied at 1. That we go to KC. Seth Lugo versus Clark Schmidt tomorrow, and then the next day we got Garrett Cole versus Michael Waka. Difficult. You know, we're in KC. We're at Kauffman. The one series I'm actually really looking forward to outside of my series is the Padres. Hold on one second. The Padres and Dodgers.
baseball, baby, baseball, baby.
Yeah, I got to sneeze, so I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Dodgers Padres is
Straight.
tied 1-all. Mets are up 6-0 right now on the Phillies in the top of the 8th to go up 2-1 in the series, so that'll be interesting. I think the Phillies are the better team, but they're getting manhandled these last couple games. I don't know.
What does manhandle look like? What's the
In baseball,
manhandle?
5-0's a blowout. They're losing 6-0.
Oh my lord!
Yeah.
Oh my lord!
I know that you're a big Atlanta guy. They haven't moved on. There's a bracket right there.
Yeah, I can see.
Cleveland
Seems
and
like
Cleveland and the Tigers play tomorrow at 3:08. I don't know
like
who I want to
Dodgers
win that series
doing
because
their
I'm not a
thing.
Cleveland guy, but Detroit is scary. So if my team wins, I don't know who I want to win the following series with Detroit and Cleveland. I just don't
For
know.
sure, for sure, for sure.
Um,
Yeah,
the one
Philly's
thing I want to,
looking.
the Phillies are, yeah, that's tough.
That's
Now
tough.
we can go on to some more NFL. Drake May, because you mentioned that I have not heard about that.
Yeah.
So
Drake May. He's now getting the start and for the Patriots.
is this a bye week? Is that why?
It seems like I think it's a bye week for them, but they just came off
I
of a
can look.
serious loss. They just came off a bad loss to a team. I think the team they should have beat.
I agree.
Jacoby Brissett is just not playing the way he should have. They thought he would play coming in being a veteran. Honestly, I just think that Jacoby Brissett, this is kind of his last chance trying to showcase his talent and be a starter quarterback in this league. We just seen him be a starter. He's a competent backup. I would say that he's a competent
Nope,
backup.
they do not have a bye week. They're throwing him in there against the Texans.
And who did they lose to last week?
Dolphins.
Like 15-10. Yeah, Dolphins without Tua. That's a
First
bad.
start is against the Texans.
And he's going to get some. He's going to have to go against teams like that, and this is going to be a very difficult spot. How do you feel about him? You kind of get thrown into the wolves. They really don't have a lot of talent there on the offensive side, so I'm not looking to see anything great out of Drake May. But you know the rookie's been balling lately. The rookie's been balling.
He reminds me of a Josh Allen type. Like, give him a couple years, and by year 3, if he's good, he'll be really, really good. But I want to say something that I think that you brought up that I think is really important. Jacoby Brissett, you just said it. This was his last best shot.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that to be rude. This seems like his last best shot.
because I feel like he's kind of on like a Jameis Winston side. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like if
Yes.
Jameis Winston, because the Browns for some reason still want to stick with Deshaun Watson at quarterback for some reason, and we talk about that in our last live stream. But for some reason they want to stick with Deshaun Watson. But Jameis Winston should get the start eventually if Deshaun Watson keeps playing bad. But Jacoby Brissett, he's on like that same tier with Jameis Winston. Like we've seen y'all play a bunch of times and y'all just still are bad. Like y'all are still just not that great. So if you plug in Drake May, I don't take him out the lineup. Please don't take him out the lineup after he's already started because the Panthers, they just tried to put Bryce Young back in there at the last. Like, no, don't put him back in there.
You
And then
gotta,
he's
you
like,
gotta, you make a point, and I'm gonna take Dino's words because I know that he believes this because he's the one that told me. You gotta pick a guy that take rookie out of it. If you rookie notwithstanding, if you have two guys that are not rookies, pick one guy and stick with him.
yeah. You got to stick with one guy. You got to stick with him. What do you
Rookie
expect out of Drake?
notwithstanding.
Yeah, what do you expect out of Drake May going forward, getting that starting job with the New England Patriots? Gerard Mayo, he's trying to make moves. He's trying to win games. He just got the head coaching job. So I expect him to pull out every stop to try to get some wins down the line. But the Dolphins loss, that's a very bad loss,
I'm
fans.
with you. Pulling out all the stops. There was no. The one thing with this is he's a big boy. He's 6'4", 240. He's a big boy. I'm going to say something, and I think you're going to agree with me. There was no great time to put him in.
Yeah, there really wasn't no great time to put him in. So they plug him in after Patriots record isn't what they really wanted it to be. But Gerard Mayo and this
There's
Patriots
no,
team is
yeah.
very
Yeah,
they're
there's
just
no
not that
like
good.
yeah, you can't pick one game and say, hey, maybe after some because they play the Jags who aren't good. Maybe that
Yeah,
game, but it'd be in London, so the schedule it might
yeah.
be like the time would different. I
I
don't
think
know.
they probably should have started him then, but since they have the bye week, they can kind of get Drake May into the offense better than what he was before. Because now you're running with the ones now, and you're getting some time in practice to get right before they have to play the Texans, who are a serious matchup. The Texans got off with a just the skin of their teeth win against the Bills or or whatnot, and it's a very tough matchup they're going to have to go against in the near future. But let's see what he does against the Jaguars and a bad team like that. If he can win against the Texans, if he can win against the Jags, man, that would be a surprising thing. And we see a guy like Jaden Daniels balling out. We done seen surprises this year. So
Yep.
hey, we have some we had some big surprises this year. So I see Drake May still I like him as a quarterback. He's a very tall, competent quarterback. And I know you had
I think
something
the
to say,
thing
man.
you said is important though. They have no weapons. Your guy at least has Terry.
Yeah, like the Patriots really don't got that much of any weapons. I know the fans are probably already
I
see
mean,
what CJ Stroud had to
it's
say.
hard to just pick one. I'm in a
Who's
toss
the most
between.
NFL ready?
I feel like Drake May is. You watch his tape. Um, arm talent jumps off. I mean, he's one guy that, to me, like the one mistake that I did early on in like his first couple of games was I moved around too much. Like I didn't get the ball out on time. I started taking um, risks that weren't even downfield. They're necessarily scrambling. And when you watch his tape, he scrambles when he needs to. He throws guys open. He has right here. He has rollout ability, like different.
Hey, and what he did at North Carolina was pretty nice too. So hey, I respect that out of CJ Stroud giving us the real on Drake May. That was kind of like before the draft and the whatnot. So hey, they drafted him at number 3. So you got to start your third overall pick for that team. Drake May, whatever you want to say. Jacoby Brissett's out. Drake May's in. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. How y'all feel about Robert Saleh getting fired? We just talked about the Saints and Chiefs. It's a packed show today, man. It's lit. We got some prime time games coming up throughout the week that we'll be on Friday. Kind of got a day off here tomorrow and we'll be back on Friday after the prime time game, and then we do our college football Saturday, Sunday, and whatnot. And see us at 7 p.m. We always on at 7 p.m. At the day after the prime time game. So hey, shout out y'all in the chat. I see somebody still watching. Shout out you just still in the chat. Shout out you if you watch this after this video, and put your comments in the comment section, baby. Any more news? We got anything else going on? Like I said, we got Drake May. We got a lot going on. Should Bill Belichick go to the Jets? Aaron Rodgers, Saleh fired. Derek Carr hurt. Patrick Mahomes and still Michael Jordan. Now let's get into Dino's top 5 MVP list after week 5. Tell me if argue with me if you want, Vance. We gonna
I
argue
probably
about
can't. I
it.
probably
We
won't.
debate about it. We will talk about it. But this is Dino's list coming up, and how y'all
Let's
feel
do it.
about it. Bang! So the list from left to right, or how you want to put it, I got Jaden Daniels at 1. He's been the best
He's not
efficiently.
one.
He's been the best. He's been the best efficiently. He's the best down the field. He had the number 1 scoring offense in the league. The number 1 scorer with the Washington Commanders, my team. Respect out to us, but I'm not expecting us to be the number 1 scoring team in the NFL. And he's the first ever NFL rookie to have 1,000 passing yards and over 200 plus rushing yards. He's the first ever rookie, and he looks better than C.J. Stroud last year. And I see a lot of analysts saying, "Hey, look, he's in that MVP conversation." I know people don't want to put him there because he's a rookie and stuff like that, but I'm going Jaden Daniels number 1. That you can argue after Vance after I go through my list or whatnot, but tell me your problem with my list or whatnot. Patrick Mahomes had 2 bunch of injuries. They bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. They bring in old Kareem Hunt. They haven't shared the field in 6 years together. Look at what he's doing it with. And he's been versus some serious teams. And now he has his team at 5-0 going into the bye week. And they're still the top team to beat in the AFC, in the NFC, and in the NFL, on how you want to put it. Patrick Mahomes still has his team as the best team in the best team in the league, and he's not doing it with much on offense. And that's what we said last year when they had a bunch of injuries and they weren't that good on offense and dropping the ball with Tony, Kadarius Tony or whatnot, and they still won the Super Bowl. So it's very highly likely they could go back to back to back. Lamar Jackson, you see what he just did? Four touchdowns against the Bengals. Joe Burrow, he threw for 5. Jamar Chase went for 200. We seen the crazy play with Lamar Jackson off the sideline. He throws it to Isaiah Likely down the end zone. He's still playing like MVP Lamar from last year. He has 2 MVPs already, so that might hurt him. People might want to see a different MVP than Lamar Jackson, but you still got to have him in that conversation because he's a dog. Sam Darnold has his NFC Minnesota Vikings Skull Nation at 5-0. Did we see this coming? Did we ever see this coming? 5-0 for Sam Darnold. Very efficient. Just got a dub against the Jets and their decent defense. I mean, putting up big numbers for Sam Darnold. So I got him hit there sliding in at number 4. And then at the back end of number 5, we got the Bake Show. The Bake Show, you know what he can do. You know what he has done. He had the Buccaneers. Shout out to Tampa right now because they got the Hurricanes coming again. Like, that's kind of crazy. I mean, I know this is not sports, but pray for everybody down in Florida. You just had a Helene, and now you got something else coming along. But Baker Mayfield showing out for Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers, and he's playing really well. We have to see him play this well since Oklahoma, baby. Vance, how do you feel about Dino's top 5 MVP list after week 5? This isn't at the end of the year. This is as of, don't even put it as what you want to put it as. It's not end of the year. We're talking about right now after week.
Right now, I don't think Jaden Daniels will win it because no rookie has since Jim Brown. That's no slight at your guy. He's playing great. And no, he's not number 1 in efficiency. Geno Smith is. I'm looking at. I have it
we
right
can
here.
argue.
Geno Smith is number 1. Your guy is actually 12th. I think Darnold right now is the favorite. I know you're a Baker guy, so I'll let that be because you're a big Baker
But we're the
guy.
number 1 scoring offense, though. We're the number 1 scoring offense, though.
That is true. I think Darnold is number 1. I think QBR has a lot to do with it. I think Josh Allen should be in there. Okay, I'm going to put it like this because you taught me something, but I'm going to see if you still feel the same way. Does a bad team can you win it? Because Josh Allen's not a bad player, but his team's not great. He's playing out of his mind.
The reason why I took Josh Allen off the list is because the last 2 games in his bad loss, and he went like 9 for 30. That's the worst QBR, like QB
he's
from
number
receptions
1 in
or
it
something
though.
like that. Yeah, he's like 9. He went like 9 for 30 something last game.
Yeah.
Like he played really bad. He played really bad the last 2 games. That's the reason why I kind of slid him out of that top.
Yeah.
And what he did in the game against the Texans has to be talked about. You don't go for it 3 times in the incompletion. That's not what MVPs do. You play good on the first half, but that's the reason why I don't got him in. If I had to slide him in, it'll be at 6.
So I do think Darnold 1. I think your guy right now. I think your guy, based on what they think about rookies, if he wasn't, I read something. If he was like a 5th-year veteran doing this, he would win it by far. But because he's a rookie, they're going to hold that. Not because I don't like him, but they're going to hold it against him. They just are.
Okay, so you guys.
I don't think they should. I don't think they should, but they will. I'm going to throw 13 in there. We're 2 and 3, but he made some ridiculous plays. He's made some bad throws too. You can't. This guy's been
Purdy?
better.
Can't put Purdy in there right now.
Actually, I can. I'll tell you why. Leads the league in QBR. He's 4th in passing efficiency. Your guy's 12th, remember? You don't have, so all the people you've named are not even in the top 10, or one's in the top 2 are in the top 10. Mahomes and Jackson. My guy's 4th. He's 4th in yards. He's number 1 in average per throw at 8.8.
But wins has to come into play too, though. A lot of these guys, we got Daniels 4-1. The Commanders are 4-1. Patrick Mahomes 5-0. Sam Darnold, Minnesota 5-0. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't believe what you told me.
And you lost to the Cardinals too.
You told me what you don't. Here's the thing. So you don't believe what you're saying then, because
we ran over the Cardinals. We ran over the Cardinals.
But you don't believe what you're saying then, because you told me you don't hold bad. You told me you don't hold wins against good players. If you're a good player, you're a good player.
Yeah, but you have to, in the MVP conversation, wins matter. They definitely matter in the MVP conversation. It doesn't matter how great you're playing. If you're 0-5, but you're leading the league in touchdowns, we're talking about the most valuable player to the NFL, to their team. And Jaden Daniels, you take him out of this lineup, we losing every game. We're losing every game down the stretch. Let's be real.
I also think it's week 5, and I'm not going to blow your bubble. I'm not going to burst you. I'm not going to do that. But the one thing I will say is, and you've taught me this, how much film do they have on the kid in NFL? Because you've taught me this. They figure you out after a while. Like they figured Purdy out and he changed his game. They'll figure your guy out and then he'll have to change his game. I think right now he's playing great because they don't have enough film. When they get film and he changes his game, we'll see where he is.
But it's a lot of guys where you could say that too, but I don't think James Daniels that guy. You can't really scheme and kind of get film and scheme off a guy that can run the ball like he could run the ball and he could throw like dimes like nobody can.
I could say the same thing with Lamar, and he got embarrassed in the AFC title game last year.
Yeah, but as in film wise, Lamar. You can't game plan it. You can't really game plan against his legs and his passing ability too. So, I mean, yeah, you can say that because he's a rookie, but I don't know if you can do that down the stretch. But
now the one guy I think you're missing more than anybody, CJ Stroud.
Okay, so let's start from 1 to 5 with your list.
So I will go Darnold 1.
Darnold 1.
Stroud 2, Mahomes 3, Lamar 4, your guy 5. I don't think I like Baker. I don't think it's more Tampa than it's not him. It's more Tampa because he was Carolina's not good. Cleveland's not good. He's a good player, but you also have Mike Evans and all those boys. Like, I think CJ Stroud is criminally underrated. I have my reasons, but I'm not going to give it on air. I'll tell you off air why I think that.
Nah, CJ Stroud's a great player. He is a great
No,
player.
I'll tell you off
I
air
don't
why
argue
I
with
think. I'm not. No, I'm not saying that. I think there's a reason he's not getting MVP considerations, and I'll tell you why off air. When we're not streaming, I'll tell you. But yeah, I think right now Darnold has to be the favorite. And I also want to say something. I saw something very interesting. The last team to go 5-0 and not make the playoffs, the 2016 Vikings. So don't people with the 5-0 people. I know you're not one of them, but you did say record. So don't think record means everything because the last 3 years, 2 or 3 of the last 4 years, my team, my Niners, last year we were 5-0 at this point. The year before we were 3-2, we were 1-4, and we were 2-3, and we made 4 straight NFC championships. So record doesn't mean anything. The last team to go 5-0 and miss the playoffs was the Vikings. That's why I just read that.
Yeah, you are right about that. But like I said, in the MVP list, record has to matter. It has to matter.
They do look at record, yeah.
Yeah, it has to
The
matter.
one thing I will say is, CJ Stroud doesn't get love. I know why, but he's just good. He's good, man. Now I want to ask you, where do you stand on Dak? Because he's like this. He's a very big roller coaster with him.
Dak. Yeah, so he had a great.
Try to be as fair as you can.
He had a great drive in the last drive against the Steelers, but right now Dak is not top 10.
Yeah, be as fair as you can though. So he's not. So would you like 12 probably? Like top 15?
He's probably top 15, but he ain't top 10. He ain't been playing top 10 worthy. Like
that was the craziest thing for me is he got the highest contract off a second MVP last year. It's like I like him.
Yeah, he played like I said. He was definitely he was definitely an MVP consideration last year, but this year I'm not putting him in the MVP consideration.
Now I want to ask you a question. So I heard this, and I wanted to pick your brain about something. The top 3 draft picks in the 2021 draft: Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance. None of which are great. 2 of them are not starting, in Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. Trevor Lawrence doesn't look good. Do you think that was a bad? So let me ask you a question: is that a bad?
Get that dub though.
Yeah. Was that a bad class or bad players?
I think it's bad organizations they went to. Let's look. The Jaguars weren't that great. The Jaguars were terrible. The Jaguars are still terrible as
No, Trey went to the Niners.
I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence. I'm talking about
Trevor Lawrence. Bad organizations. That's why I'm talking about Trevor.
I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence. Trey Lance is just down the field passing is just not good. We've seen it.
Bad.
And look where he got drafted from. I mean, the best player that they got drafted from there was Carson Wentz. And look what happened to him. Yes, he had a great rookie year, MVP consideration, got injured, but it's downhill after that. Trey Lance still has a lot of time in front of him. Maybe he could get to that point like Sam Darnold is, but he has to put the work in himself. You know what I'm saying? You got to put the work in yourself and try to get better yourself.
So you think bad situations?
Bad situations. You got Zach Wilson with the Jets. That organization always destroys you.
Mac Jones
with Robert Saleh. Mac Jones went to the Patriots after Tom Brady.
Justin Fields.
How bad that could be. Justin Fields went to the Bears. You know how bad they were. So you know what I'm saying? Once you got the top draft pick in the draft, you go to bad situations, and you know what I'm saying. For some reason it's just like that. And you know, Kyle Shanahan, I don't think he wants to take time with the guy. They trying to win Super Bowls now. You got Debo, you got George, you got all those guys. So for Trey Lance to not come in and show any type of, you know what I'm saying, flash,
Yeah.
Kind of bad for
But you were correct. Downfield, he was atrocious.
Yeah, down the field, he was just, and we see him in the preseason with the Cowboys. He threw a bunch of interceptions in that game.
He threw like
So
4 in a row. Yeah.
yeah, he threw like 4 interceptions in that game. So I just think it was bad situations. But except for yours with Trey Lance, he was just a bad
I
quarterback
also
down
want
the
to say,
field.
I remember right before when I told you that we were going to trade Trey, you wanted him on your team. I'm guessing you're
Yeah.
happy you didn't get him.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted everybody because we were so after Alex Smith, we were so dismantled with quarterbacks and going.
I'm gonna say something right now
all of this.
that you can hold on to. I think your team wins your division.
I think we can win our division. It's still going to be tough down the line once the Eagles get healthy. I think
I don't believe in the Eagles for one reason. I don't believe in Sirianni.
Yeah.
Our game last year when we played them and we whooped their ass, we exposed a lot of problems that team had. Mainly the fact
I'll tell you what.
Mainly we exposed the fact that they were 11-0. They were winning Buffalo. Okay, you know this now. Buffalo had them beat last year. They didn't call that stupid ass holding. Josh Allen's jersey was ripped and they didn't call holding.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Jersey was literally ripped in half. Buffalo had them beat. KC had them beat. And they won both the games. I'm not thinking Buffalo was the better team. KC was the better team. We came to town and we exposed that team. And I say that in terms of like they had this good defense, right? Okay, if you had a good defense, how did we put up 42? If you had this great offense, why'd you only score 19? All I heard for months, dude, it made me so mad. I heard for months. Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate. After that game, I didn't hear another word. All I heard was Brock Purdy.
They get destroyed. But I'll tell you what, if we beat the Ravens, you know what?
I'm with you.
I ain't even gonna say it. Don't let us beat the Ravens. That's all I said. Don't let us beat the Ravens.
My thing is Jalen Hurts is good. I don't believe in Nick Sirianni because we've heard things about him fighting with players. I do not believe in him.
I definitely think we could win the division. Like I said, if Devontae Smith and guys, they are a serious team. We're just talking about the NFC East though. For the NFC East, they're are
not a bad team. I don't believe in them
down the stretch. But if we beat the Ravens this week, don't let me get on this.
You're gonna be insufferable.
Oh my Lord, y'all be annoying. I'm gonna be annoying. But that does it today for Inside the Lines. We talked about Drake May getting a start, Robert Saleh getting fired, Saints Chiefs game Monday night. Who we got on Thursday? NFL schedule.
Let me look.
We'll be back on Friday. 49ers against the Seahawks on Thursday night. That's going to be a serious game. Your team, baby.
Wearing the throwbacks, baby.
Yep, they're gonna have to bounce back after they lost to the Cardinals. I expect y'all to win that game coming down the line. But shout out to anybody who was in the chat, commented in the chat. Shout out to you. If you come here after the video is already uploaded, after the live stream, put your comment in the chat still, and I will respond to that comment. Shout out to y'all. We had a good day today. Some sports going on. We'll be around the Devontae Adams talks. We will tune in if we get to Devontae Adams trade coming soon. But shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all. We don't do this without y'all. Keep hitting that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe button for your boy. Peace out, baby. God bless.